Oopsie daisy. Should probably put my continuing scripts on it, so I can more easily save it. Yeah. Technology. Yeah, it's kind of on charge still. So yeah, here we go with today's video on Germany. Now, the name Germany is used in 3 sentences, and first it refers to a region of central Germany, commonly regarded as constituting Germany now, where there is no, when everyone knows no central German state, as the case was the case of most of Germany's history. Second refers to the unified German state that was established in 1871 and existed until 1945. So goddamn it, Hitler. And then third is since October 3rd, 1990, refers to Germany being unified again from east and west, formed by the cession of the date of the German Democratic Republic, GDR or East Germany, to the Federal Republic of Germany, FDR or West Germany. And the Federal Republic of Germany refers to West Germany from its founding in May 23rd, 1949 until the unification of Germany on the 3rd of October 1990. And after this status is simply united into Germany. And for the sake of verity, the Federal Republic of Germany is often called the Federal Republic. And the Federal Republic of Germany consists of 16 states, and 5 of these, Länder, Singen Land, and 5 of these Länder dates from July 1990, when the territory of the German Democratic Republic was once again divided into Länder. And for this reason, and since the unification of Germany, Germans frequently refer to the territory of the former Eastern Germany or as an Eastern Länder, and call that of the former West Germany Old or Western Länder. So yeah, so a bit more of history. Emperor Charlemagne, who we encountered either yesterday or the day before in the French video, was the Frankish ruler of France and Germany, crowned Roman Emperor by Pope Leo III, and in 843 there was a break-up of the Frankish Empire when Germany emerges as a separate realm. And in 962 the German king Otto I was crowned Roman Emperor after gaining control of northern Italy, beginning with what was later known as the Holy Roman Empire, centred on Germany. And a couple of hundred years later, in 1250, the death of Emperor Frederick II, Hohenstaufen marks the virtual end of central authority and accelerations of the empire's collapse into independent princely states and territories. And in 1438, the election of Albert I marks the beginning of the Habsburg dynasty based in Austria. And then in Germany at the time of 1517, Martin Luther proclaimed 95 theses against traditional church practices, and which begins the Protestant split from the Catholic Church. And from 1614 to 1648 was the time period for the 30 Years' War, which is failure of the Habsburg Emperor to impose attempting to restore the Catholic dominance of imperial authority against opposition Protestant princes, and in 1648 the Treaty of Westphalia confirms near total independence of territorial states. And it's like, as far as aware, nothing much really happened until 1806, where Napoleon's armies imposed French rule over much of what is now Germany, and Francis II declares abolition of the Holy Roman Empire and adopts the title of Emperor of Austria. But it took a few more years till 1813, where to defeat Napoleon in the Battle of Leipzig and all. And in 1848, it was the year of revolutions, the failure of liberals' attempt to unite Germany under a democratic constitution. But was also at the same time, it was also the start of rapid industrialization. And in 1871, a well-known man called Otto von Bismarck achieves unification of Germany under the leadership of Prussia, a new German empire's authoritarian constitution creates an elected national parliament that gives the emperor extensive powers. And in 1888 was the start of Wilhelm II's reign, I think it was. And he then started a trend of colonial expansion and built up of a navy to compete with that of Britain's, which kind of bolstered the economy a little bit. And in 1819, the growing workers' movement culminates in the founding of the Social Democratic Party of Germany. So yeah, the next major events in Germany was 1914 to 1918, which was World War I. But in 1918, Germany were defeated and forced to sign the armistice, and it's I think a day before the end of the war, Emperor Wilhelm II abdicates and goes into exile. And a year later, in 1919, the Treaty of Versailles is signed and Germany loses its colonies and some of its lands to neighbours and has to pay large-scale reparations, as they were essentially blamed for the war even though they did not start it, as they were kind of coming to an aid of an ally, which also suffered greatly afterwards. And after signing the Treaty of Versailles, it was the beginning of the Weimar Republic, based on a new constitution, and in its early years are marked with high unemployment and rampant inflation kind of thing. And then along comes Adolf Hitler in 1923, and he was the head of the National Socialist German Workers' Party, known as Nazi Party. He leads a coup in the Munich beer hall, as Hall successfully fails drastically, only delaying him by another 10 years. And France and Belgium occupy the Ruhr over failed repatriation payments, and hyperinflation leads to an economic collapse. And in 1929, Germany is hit hard by the global depression with mass unemployment, and there's even more inflation and all. And then along came Hitler again in 1933, and who becomes Chancellor. And the Weimar Republic gives way to a one-party state, and it started a systematic persecution of Germany's Jewish population. And Hitler proclaims the Third Reich in 1934. And in 1935, Germany begins to rearm, and the the laws deprive German Jews of citizenship. And and then kind of goes quiet a little bit, and then in 1938 they kind of annexed Austria and some Sudetenland in Czechoslovakia, what was then Czechoslovakia. I think it was like Western Czechoslovakia, I think. Where there's like an ethnically German population there. Well, I think in the end it just kind of just invaded into the rest of Czechoslovakia. And then there's like the Kristallnacht, which was a night of broken glass, which was like a large scale attack on like the Jewish population in Germany. As there was like attacks on the Jewish population and their properties, as well as like the places of worship called synagogues. And so and then from 39 to 45 we were fighting World War II and all that. So which started with the invasion of Poland on the 1st of September 1939, and millions of people of all ages, but mostly for what is seen as undesirable by the Germans, the Jewish population, the Gypsies, Slavs, and other races, the disabled, homosexuals, the LGBT community, the Muslim and religious dissenters. That is the Nazis implement an extermination policy in the death camps of Eastern Europe. But everything sucked for Hitler, thank God. And Germany was defeated in May 1945 upon the death of Hitler's suicide. And now it's kind of divided in Germany into the occupied zones, East and West Germany. And from 1945 to 1946, November's, I think it was, but there was the Nuremberg trial where war crimes trials see major Nazi figures executed or imprisoned. And in 1949 Germany is divided between the US, French, British zones to the west and the West Corean Federal Republic of Germany and the Soviet zone in the east. Becomes the Communist German Democratic Republic. And in the west, Konrad Adenauer of Christian Democrats in West Germany's first Chancellor, and East Germany is led by Walter Ulbricht. And throughout the 1950s, there was rapid economic growth in West Germany. As in 1955, West Germany joins NATO, while in the East Germany joins the Warsaw Pact. And in 1957, West Germany joins a European Economic Community, which is the precursor to the EU today. And then in 1961, the infamous construction on the infamous Berlin Wall ends a steady fight of people from east to west. And in 1964, Social Democrat Willy Brandt becomes Chancellor and seeks better ties with the Soviet Union and East Germany under Ostpolitik, known as Eastern Policy in English. And in 1971, Walter Ulbricht is succeeded in the East by Erich Honecker. And in 1973, both East and West Germany joined the UN, United Nations. A year later, in 1974, Brandt resigns after spy revelations surrounding one of his aides was revealed, and the new Chancellor, Helmut Schmidt, continues Ostpolitik. As Christian Democrats, Helmut Kohl becomes Chancellor in 1982, and in 1987 East German leader Erich Honecker paid his first official visit to the West. Now in 1989, a mass exodus of East Germans as neighbouring Soviet blocked countries lacked travel restrictions, and protests across East Germany led to rapid collapse of communist rule, and Germans from the east and west tear down the Berlin Wall, and a year later in 1990, East Germany elected a pro-unification parliament, the state merged into Federal Republic. But it took another 4 years till 1994 for Russian and Allied troops to finally leave Berlin. And in 1998, general election victory for Social Democrat leader Gerhard Schröder, who leads a coalition with the Green Party. And then in June 2001, the government decides to phase out nuclear energy over a 20-year period, which is now reaching towards the end of it in 2018, as we're going into the final 3 years of it. So we'll see if it is successful, and see if it is successful kind of thing. And in November that same year of 2001, Chancellor Schröder survives a parliamentary confidence vote over the government's decision to deploy 4,000 troops in the US-led campaign in Afghanistan. It was Germany's largest deployment outside Europe since World War II. And in January 2002, the euro replaces the Deutschmark. And in March 2002, the government pushes a controversial immigration bill through the upper house of Parliament, and it allows a limited number of skilled non-EU workers into the country. And Schröder is re-elected in September of 2002, and with a sharply reduced majority. In May 2004, opposition seized the EU-backed candidate Horst Köhler from IMF elected president. And in September of 2004, tens of thousands protested in the streets, particularly in the eastern region, over government plans to cut unemployment benefits and other welfare and labour reforms. In May 2005, after his party suffers a defeat in the North Rhine, Westphalia region election, Chancellor Schröder announces that he'll seek an early general election, and Germany ratifies the EU constitution, and Germany gets its first ever female chancellor in November 2005 as Christian Democrat leader, and Angela Merkel becomes the Chancellor in Grand Coalition with the Social Democrats, after conclusive elections in September. And in November 2006, unemployment falls below 4 million for the first time in 4 years, and that is when the financial crisis is hit in 2008. And in October 2008, Germany agrees $68 billion plan to save one of the country's largest bank, Hyper Real Estate, from collapse. And Germany says it will make as much as €500 billion available in loan and guarantees after capital to bolster the European banking system. And in November that same year, Germany is declared officially to be in a recession. In February 2009, the Parliament approves a $63 billion stimulus package aimed at shoring up the recession hit its economy. And in August, the figures that are released showing the economy grew by 0.3% in the last quarter, bringing the country out of a recession. And in October, Merkel's CDU sealed coalition with pro-business Free Democrats (FDP) after parties reached an agreement on major tax cut proposals following September general election. In 2010, official data shows the German economy shrank by 5% in 2009, hit by slump of exports and investments. In May of 2010, Parliament votes to approve a €22.4 billion contribution to bail out debt within Greece, promoting widespread public anger. And also Merkel's government's governing central right coalition suffers a defeat in the regional election in North Rhine-Westphalia, thereby losing the majority of the upper house of the federal parliament. And in September, Cabinet approves a controversial plan to extend the lifespans of Germany's nuclear reactors, reversing the 2001 decision to phase out nuclear energy by 2021. And in January 2011, provisional figures show the economy grew by 3.6% in 2010, its fastest pace since reunification in 1990. And the economist attributed to the rate of recovery in exports. In March, there were setbacks for Merkel, as the Christian Democrats lose the key state of Baden-Württemberg for the first time in 6 decades. And in May, a further U-turn on nuclear power crisis following Japan's Fukushima plant, as there was a major tsunami and earthquake that year, early on. German government says all nuclear power plants will be phased out by 2022, so we're 4 years off. And in July, Merkel defends her decision to back a second huge bailout for Greece, insisting that it's Germany's historic duty to protect the euro. In August 2012, the Federal Constitutional Court partly reverses the severe restrictions on military deployments enshrined in the Constitution after World War II, giving military the right to use weapons in Germany in the event of an assault of catastrophic proportions, but not to control demonstrations. In May 2013, figures show that in 2012, Germany experienced its biggest surge in immigration for almost 20 years, with 400,000 permanent migrants, people who have a right to stay for more than a year, arriving. And in October, Germany withdraws most of its troops from Afghanistan following a decade in which it was responsible for security in the northern province of Kunduz. In December, Merkel begins a third term in office as Chancellor at the head of a grand coalition with all the main parties, with the centre-left Social Democrats, after falling short of an overall majority in the September elections. And in April 2014, Germany adopts a minimum wage for the first time, setting it at €8.50 an hour. In September 2015, Merkel offers temporary asylum for refugees, promoting mass movement of people through the Balkans towards Germany in the autumn and winter, and stretching the European Union's Schengen Agreement, and abolition of border controls to breaking point in many countries. In January 2016, sex attacks on hundreds of women in Cologne and other German cities during New Year celebration by men largely from North Africa and Arab period. It's promoted public backlash against Merkel's decision to welcome migrants, and the government takes steps to curb the influx of migrants. And in March 2016, an anti-migrant Alternative for Germany's party makes a strong show in 3 state-level elections, beating the Christian Democrats into third place in Chancellor Merkel's home state of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. And in July, attacks on by migrant and Islamic State sympathisers in Wolfsburg and Ansbach leave 17 people injured. And in March 2016, an alternative German party makes strong showing in Berlin state elections. And in December 2016, Tunisian migrant Anis Amri kills 12 people by driving into a hijacked lorry into a crowded Berlin Christmas market. In September 2017, the Alternative for Germany exploits social tension over migrants to surge into third place in parliamentary elections behind much weaker Christian Democrats and Social Democrats. And in March 2018, Chancellor Merkel forms a grand coalition with Social Democrats and failed to assemble a government with pro-business Liberal Free Democrats and left-leaning Greens. Now moving on to language. So German is the official language of 4 European countries. Germany and Austria where it's primary, like one only, as well as being one of 3 official languages in Switzerland and also in Belgium, as there's more than 100 million people speaking it worldwide, and it's one of the most widely spoken languages in Europe, if we do not take into account Russia in the whole Eurasia thing. As German ranks the 6th most popular language in the world, with the first being Chinese and English and Hindi, Urdu, Spanish and Russian. Experts believe at the basis of German language Proto-Germanic. Okay, began to develop about 2000 BC, as people began to settle in the western areas of the Baltic Sea. And one of the first ever records of a German language dates back to the 1st century BC, when the Romans came into contact with the inhabitants of the Rhine-Danube area during their occupation. And the modern German we know today is likely to be unrecognisable from the language that the Romans first observed. It has gone through many changes from Old High German from about 700 AD to the 11th century, and Middle High German from 1050 to 1350, and then early New High German 1350 to 1600 to New High German from about 1600 to now, to the present. As with many languages, German has evolved with society, and socio-political factors have helped shape the language as it is today, and the words from other languages have been adopted by German speakers, and others have been introduced into the German language due to interaction with people from elsewhere, due to migration, trade, war, or the development of new technology from cinema and the internet. And today Germans will have brainstorming sessions, using English terms and all that. So, and most speakers have adopted English words related to technology, like internet or email, like it does in several other languages. In German can be an interesting language due to the dominance of dialects, which due to the fact that there were no cultural centres like Paris or France. By the end of the Middle Ages, attempts were made to create a standard German language so that several independent regions could communicate more easily with each other. And as the German state did not exist as a whole until 1871, which is pretty recent compared to a lot of people, countries. It's like, I know that America, United States came in like 1786, something like that. But they've always had like English and all that. A major influence on the standardization of German was Martin Luther's Bible translation into German in 1522 from the original Hebrew, and the translation into Hebrew it was aimed at the Middle East German. That style was largely based on languages about Saxon court and became the basis of what we know as German today. Modern day German is often referred to as High German or Hochdeutsch, and Hochdeutsch is used as a language of administration, higher education, literature and mass media, and there's like other dialects like Low German or Plattdeutsch or Niederdeutsch, which is still spoken in like many of the lowlands of northern Germany. And there's Alemannic, which can differ considering sound system and grammar from Standard High German, and is mainly spoken in Switzerland, Austria, Swabia and Liechtenstein, and in the Alsace region of France. Then there's Yiddish, the language of sorry if I mispronounce this, Ashkenazic Jews. They're the Jews whose ancestors lived in Germany in the European Middle Ages. And it's also developed from High German. So yeah, that's the language for you. And moving on to legends, as there's Germany's famous Black Forest and early society can make like the perfect magic spot for campfire stories, and like there's like sinister sides, comical sides, mysterious and mysterious and magical. As mythical things happen in all forms in the German myths and legends, and folklore tales can still be heard today, like the Lorelei. And as according to the German folklore, atop a steep rock on the Rhine River there once lived a nymph named Lorelei, and she dressed in white and wore a wreath of stars in her hair. Not only was her nose she was like very beautiful and attractive, but the siren sang a song so haunting and hypnotic that no sailor could resist her aura. And enticed by her song, legend has it that no sailor who tries to reach Lorelei will return, instead that they would meet their final fate by crashing against dangerous rocks. And the statue of Lorelei today watches over the treacherous stretch of water near St. Gershosen.
Sarah, can you just throw the cat out for me? She told us we got Pebble out. He sat there on the couch and then just jumped down and we were like, oh my god.
They get and everything in this video. And then there's like how to protect your child, which was like important instructions taught by someone called Jacob Grimm, on how to protect your child from changelings in German mythology. And then like the first is to place a key next to your baby, and this will prevent him from being exchanged. And make sure make sure the new mother is never left alone during the first 6 weeks after childbirth, as during this time the Dale has more power over the infant, and during the same period mothers should not go to sleep until someone else is able to watch over the child. And apparently covering the child's cradle with a pair of man's pants will also prevent changelings from creeping in. God only knows why. And then there's like nice going into like changelings. And it's this comes from like a myth, and as there was once a time at Iswak near Oderenheim, a servant and a cook of a clergyman were living together as man and wife. but the newborn baby would not grow or gain weight, as the mother was told to go to Newhausen and give the baby water from the Syriac spring. It was believed that a visit to the spring would either restore the child back to health or he would die within 9 days. To cut a long story short, on the route, it became heavier and monstrous, and the traveller yelled out that the woman was carrying the devil on her back. And the traveller said, "Your child is at home, in a new cradle, behind a chest on the side of a room." Throw the monster into the brook, and the sobbing mother did as she was told, and a great howl bellowed from underneath the bridge, like the howling, sort of like a wolves and bears. And when the mother arrived home, she found the baby healthy and laughing in its new cradle. And the dear reader was just one way the changelings can strike. Then there's also the werewolf of Moorbach, and according to the legend of it, Moorbach is the last place a werewolf was killed around 1988. And a single candle burns in the village as a reminder, but also as a warning. One night a candle went out and a wolf-like figure was spotted standing at a US airbase. He stood staring at the soldiers before returning to the forest, and the candle was relit, and it's never gonna come out since. And according to the townsfolk, if the candle ever goes out, the werewolf will likely return. Then there's Prince Brunhild at Rostrappe. Rostrappe is a kind of like a craggy hill in the Harz mountain range of central Germany, and the top of it is a treacherous climb, and you'll see hoof shapes imprinted on the rock at the edge of the cliff as the story goes up. Princess Brunhild was fleeing from a forced marriage to Bodo the giant, who chased her to the cliff edge, and that's when a brave white stallion jumped and reached the other side, while Bodo didn't quite make it and literally fell to his death. Then there's Watzmann Mountain, and where it's again once more time, in the deepest corners of southern Bavaria, there reigned a tyrannical king named Waltzmann, who enjoyed slavery and hunting local peasants. And one day, after a bloody day of killing, a curse was cast upon him and his family, and they were all turned to stone. And it says that they are still entombed in the range of Southern Mountains near the town of Berchtesgaden, and the Watzmann Mountain in the Bernau Alps is the third tallest mountain in Germany. And then there's the Pied Piper of Hamelin, as I'm sure many of you have heard of it, but for those that haven't, there we go. And it was as the Pied Piper lured away rats from the city with his sweet songs, and has Buzz dark origins to the tale. As the tale can be traced back to the Middle Ages, and according to the legends, the small town of Hamelin in Lower Saxony, masses of children disappeared at the same time without a trace, and no one really knew where they went. But suspicions are with a rat catcher who bewitched the kids away after the town's mayor refused to pay him for a job. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all tomorrow. So yeah, au revoir. So yeah, bye for now, and I'll see you all soon.